Hello everyone, welcome to our types of graphs video. So there's a bunch of different types of graphs and there's different times that you need to use the different types. So when exactly are those instances? So we're going to cover three different kinds of graphs or charts in this video. We're going to talk about line graphs, bar graphs, and pie charts. Now, line graphs are used to show trends. You can see in kind of the graphs that I have here that you can see that things have changed, right? You see the number of push-ups in that middle one has gone up every day. You see the small town teens with cell phones has increased year by year. And you can actually use these graphs to make predictions. If you wanted to say, let's see, at age 16 and a half, the small town teens with cell phones, how many students had cell phones? You can follow halfway between 16 and 17 up, see that it actually intersects with a line right there, and it's right about 500. So you can actually use line graphs to show trends effectively and to make predictions. And this is the kind of graph you're going to make almost exclusively in science this year, okay? The bar graph is one that I see more often than it should. Bar graphs are used to compare data points to each other. If you look at some of the graphs at the bottom, they're typically surveys. So how many people surveyed liked comedy movies or liked apples versus oranges, bananas, kiwis, blueberries, grapes? How many people have a birthday in which month of the year? Everything at the bottom, they're not numbers typically, unless it's a day of the week. I mean, you could convert the months to a number, yes. But it doesn't really show a trend, right? You can't go from right to left and say, oh, the numbers have changed this way, because they're showing separate data points to each other. And you cannot use it to make predictions in the same way that you can bar graphs. Now you could say, hey, we interviewed somewhere around 20 people for the favorite type of movie, and 6 out of the 20 liked romance. So if we interviewed 100 people, then we could have possibly results similar to that romance would be the highest, action would be second, then comedy and sci-fi would be tied for third. You can make a prediction like that, but it's not as solid of a prediction as with a line graph. And again, they're often used for polls. So I see people use bar graphs a lot when you really should be using a line graph. First of all, it does take longer. It does take longer to make a bar graph than a line graph. And you want to make sure that the graph you're using is the one that's going to show actually what you want to show. And here we go, pie chart. This one's also used commonly. Probably won't use it this year. I can't think of anything off the top of my head in science that you're going to have to use a pie chart for, but they're still good to talk about. They are used to show percentages of a whole, and you can see with every one of those examples on the screen right now that it is a percentage. These actually can go nicely back and forth with the bar graph. You can turn a bar graph very easily into a pie graph, turn a pie chart very easily into a bar graph. But again, for our purposes this year, probably not going to be the most helpful. So if you find yourself debating a pie chart, if I ask for some kind of data picture, probably go ahead and think about why you're thinking about that. Okay. So summary, probably 9 out of 10 times this year, you'll need a line graph. It's just easier. It fits our data better, all that good stuff. Bar graphs don't actually tell you as much as you think they can. You can kind of plot things and say, oh, look, it looks like there's a line going up this way, but why wouldn't you have done a line graph then in the first place, you know? Save yourself some of the work. It's probably a line graph. Again, pie charts probably won't be used this year in science, but still a very useful thing to know about. And that's about it for graphing. Have a great day.